All right, let's jump right in. If you've ever thought about launching a website, especially here in India, you know the whole hosting cost thing can feel, well, a little complicated, right? But don't worry. We're about to make it all crystal clear so you can pick the perfect plan without any of the guesswork.
I want you to hold on to this idea because it's everything. Think of website hosting as digital real estate. It's the piece of land you rent on the internet to build your website on. Simple as that. Once you get this analogy, everything else we talk about today is going to click right into place.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with what this digital home actually is. Then we'll explore the different kinds of properties you can rent. After that, we'll decode the price tags, I'll show you some smart ways to save a little cash, and finally, we'll talk about why this is so important for your business's growth. Okay, first stop, your website's digital home. This is literally the foundation. I mean, you could have the most amazing website in the world, but without hosting, it's like having a beautiful shop with no address. Nobody can find it. So what exactly is website hosting? It's that virtual plot of land, sure, but it's also all the utilities that come with it. The power, the security, the plumbing. It's the invisible hero working 24/7 to make sure your site is fast, safe, and ready for visitors whenever they show up. Moving on to section 2. Now that we know we need a place, let's talk about choosing the right kind of place. You know, just like in the real world, there's no one-size-fits-all. You wouldn't get a giant mansion if you're just one person, right? Well, the same logic applies to the digital world. First up is the most popular starting point for pretty much everyone, shared hosting. The best way to picture this, think of it like renting a desk in a big, busy co-working space. So what's the deal with the co-working space? Well, because you're sharing the building, the server, with a bunch of other websites, it's super cheap. That's the huge upside. The downside, if your neighbor suddenly gets a ton of visitors, it can slow things down for everyone. It's the perfect budget-friendly option for startups, bloggers, and small businesses just getting their feet wet. So what happens when your business starts to grow? You upgrade, which brings us to our next option, VPS hosting. Think of this as moving out of the co-working space and into your very own private apartment. Now, here's the key difference. You're still in a bigger building with other people, but your apartment has its own walls. You get your own dedicated resources, your own slice of the server's power that nobody else can touch. This means way better performance and more control. It's the perfect fit for growing businesses and online stores that just can't risk a slowdown. And finally, we get to the top of the line, the luxury option, dedicated hosting. Forget the apartment. This is your own private mansion. A huge property, a big fence, and absolutely no neighbors to worry about. When you go dedicated, you get the whole building, the entire server, all to yourself. This means lightning-fast speed, total control over everything, and the best security money can buy. Of course, a mansion comes with a mansion-sized price tag. This is really for the big players, large companies and websites with massive amounts of traffic. All right, let's talk money. We know the different types of properties out there. But what actually goes into the monthly rent for your digital spot on the web? Let's decode those costs. It really boils down to a few key things. Storage is basically the square footage, how much stuff you can put on your website. Bandwidth is like the size of the road leading to your house, how many visitors can come at once without causing a traffic jam. Then you've got security, which is your digital alarm system, and scalability, which is how easily you can add another room if you need it.
And wow, this chart really shows you the difference. Look at that. You can get started with a shared plan for less than $25. But look at that leap to a VPS over $100. And then the massive jump to a dedicated server, which can hit well over $500 a month. As your needs get bigger, the investment definitely gets bigger too.
So here are the hard numbers for India. As you can see, shared hosting is super affordable, starting at just a couple of dollars. VPS has a really wide price range, which makes sense because it's so flexible for businesses that are in that growth phase. And then dedicated hosting, well, that's clearly the premium choice. This should give you a really solid idea of what your budget might look like. Okay, so you know the prices, but how can you be a savvy renter and not pay a rupee more than you have to? That's what this section is all about. You don't always have to pay the list price. Here are 4 super practical tips. 1. Choose the right size property from day 1. Don't rent the mansion when the apartment will do. 2. Don't be shy. Ask for a discount, especially if you sign up for a year or more. 3. Keep an eye on your usage. If you're paying for a huge space but only using a tiny corner of it, you might be able to downsize and save. And 4. Use smart tech like a CDN. That's a content delivery network. It basically makes your site faster without you needing to buy a more expensive plan.
And this brings us to our final and maybe most important section,
Let's connect all this technical talk back to what really matters, growing your business.
The impact here is just night and day. On one hand, cheap, poor hosting gives you slow load times. That creates a frustrating experience for your users, and guess what? Google notices and pushes you down in the search results. But on the other hand, quality hosting means a snappy, fast website, happy visitors who stick around, and better rankings on Google. It's a no-brainer. So, let's just boil it all down. Choosing your hosting isn't just some tech decision you hand off to the IT guy. It is a core business decision. It affects what your customers think of you, whether they come back, and how many new people can even find you online. Getting the right plan is a true investment in the future of your business.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Is your current hosting a solid foundation that you can build your success on? Or is it a low ceiling that's actually stopping you from growing? Think about it. The answer could change everything.